Welcome to the Insurance Agency Success Podcast, the only podcast that helps insurance agencies grow their business while increasing their happiness and joy. I'm Eddie Price, founder of Jenesis Software and an agency owner for more than 30 years. I have started, bought, sold, and scaled agencies, and for the last 25 years, helped others do the same through Jenesis. On this show, you're going to hear real stories and proven strategies to help you streamline your operations, increase profits, and really enjoy the business that you've built. And if you'd like to learn more about what we do here at Jenesis Software, just visit jenesissoftware.com, click on the orange button to request a demo. Hey there, and welcome back to the Insurance Agency Success Podcast. I'm Eddie Price, founder of Jenesis Software. If you're an independent insurance agency owner, you know how hard it is to keep up with sales, marketing, team management, and still provide world-class service that your clients deserve. Today, I've got something special for you. I sat down with three incredible salespeople from Jenesis Software. These are the same folks you would meet if you booked a demo with us here at Jenesis. Together, they share real stories and lessons from the front line of helping agency owners just like you simplify operations, strengthen client relationships, and grow with confidence. First up is Jenna Kleiber. Jenna started her career in special education as a teacher before joining us here at Jenesis about 10 years ago. A fun fact, Jenna's actually the namesake of Jenesis. Jenesis. Over 10 years here, Jenna's been instrumental in driving sales growth and leading with authority and transparency. Then we have Christy Alaimo. Christy is a licensed property and casualty agent who actually used Jenesis for more than 20 years before joining our team about 10 years ago. Christy brings a strong focus on honesty, nurturing relationships, and making sure every client feels heard and supported, from that first demo all the way through to training. And finally, Joe Gagner. Joe's background in property, casualty, and health insurance, along with managing large agent teams, gives him a unique perspective. He loves creating those wow moments for clients, and he thrives on building relationships that last. In this episode, you'll hear each of them share what motivates them, how they build trust, and what they've learned working with agencies across the country. You'll walk away from this episode with insights you can apply right now to strengthen your agency and to connect more deeply with your clients. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and enjoy this inside look at the team behind Jenesis, the people who actually help agencies like yours succeed every day. Let's get into it. Jenna, if you would, introduce yourself and tell us your role and how long you've been at Jenesis.
Yeah, so I'm Jenna, and I've been with Jenesis for 9 years. It'll be 10 this year, but I've been here for 9 years, and I'm the sales and marketing manager.
You know, it's funny, and we'll talk about some of this as we get through this. When you say 9 years, then I start thinking, wow, round that up to 10 almost. Jenesis was formed in 1999 or 2000, depending on a couple of ways you look at it. But so 25 years ago. But you coming up on 10 years means that you're closing in on being here a big chunk of the time. You know, so when you joined, it felt like you were joining, you were the rookie. Been here a year, the company had been in business 15 or 16 years at the time, so a drop in the bucket. Now it's not a drop in the bucket anymore. I hadn't thought about it till you said that. Okay, next up, we've got Christy Alaimo. I've kind of introduced you, and we've given some background here, but who you are, what your role is, and we've already talked about how long you've been here. So what is your role?
Yeah, my role is an account manager on the sales team. With us, account manager means more of just you're that customer's first contact. You're that customer, how they're learning about Jenesis. We do everything from contacting the customer to...
When you say customer, do you mean prospect?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I probably should say that differently. From contacting the prospect to turning them into a customer.
Got it.
For me, I think of everybody as a customer because when I start talking to them, they're already my customer. They're my... I'm going to
No, that's good. But I
love
think
on
a
them.
customer is someone you serve. And I think the way you're looking at it is I'm serving from the moment we meet.
Yes, exactly. But we take them from the buying process all the way up until we hand them off to training.
Okay.
And then even some after handing them off to training, if they have something they need to do, like add a new team member, or if maybe they're growing their agency, which we always hope, they'll come back and see us again on the sales team.
Thanks, Christy. Joe?
I'm Joe Gauger. I've been with Genesis since June of 2022, so coming up on 3 years. I'm an account manager. So I am there on the front end of things. I am sometimes included or take part in the initial phone call with people. But either when people come on board, they're meeting with either me or Christy in a demo to make sure that they're a good fit and that we're gonna, that the partnership makes sense for both sides. And then we get to do a whole bunch of things away from that where we support the sales efforts. So that's what's fun about Genesis, is being a small company. We get to wear a lot of hats. So yes, sales is my primary gig, but of course, account management comes with that. And then also helping with marketing things, and then a whole bunch of other new projects that we just get to tackle on any given week or month.
Years ago, when we were brick and mortar, we had a team meeting. And at the team meeting, I thought about this when you said you get to wear different hats. It's an expression that's commonly used. For most, a lot of people are familiar, of course, with that expression. Years ago at the office, we had a team meeting, and we were a smaller team then, but I started the meeting out by saying a few words, and I said, we're going to really roll up our sleeves in today's team meeting, and we're going to work through some things. And I said, is everybody ready to put on your thinking caps and really buckle down? And everybody said, absolutely. And I said, okay, did everybody bring their thinking cap with them? And there might have been a chuckle or two or whatever. And I turned around and pulled out a box, and I had everybody a hat that said thinking. So the front of it, I kept mine for a long time. We all put the hat on. We got a team picture. That was kind of fun, And that was back in the day before there was a whole lot of social media posting. So that would have been a perfect social media post or Instagram post. So, Jenna, tell me what the day in the life of a sales and marketing manager at Genesis is like. What's an average day?
An average day is going to be a few meetings, and it's going to be around sales and marketing related, obviously. It's going to be talking back and forth with individual team members quite a bit, pretty much all throughout the day, whether it be questions that they have, etc. Managing a lot of emails and then just personal to-do items. So looking at inbound leads, making sure those are grabbed in a timely manner. I stay on top of my email very, very much so, pretty much all day. So I spent a lot of time there. And then, it would move on to miscellaneous to-do items, whether it's every day is a bit different, which I think is pretty cool. A sales representative here, their primary day would typically be sales calls and demos and conversations with prospects, whereas mine is more miscellaneous items like the newsletter, depending on where we are in the month. The days can be very different.
What is the perfect day? Is what you just described your perfect day, or was that reality? And if so, what's the perfect day? Or if what you described was the perfect day, what is reality? Are they different? I would think they would be.
My perfect day is going to be primarily sales focused, probably over marketing focused. So I think right now my day is spent primarily on things that would be aligned more with marketing and marketing activities. And I like my days, but if you're asking me my perfect day, probably be 80% sales and 20% focused. And what I mean by that is I genuinely enjoy, looking at things like closing ratio numbers and where are they compared to where they were before, and what are some things that we can do differently to increase those closing ratio numbers if they need, if that needs attention, or, managing leads that are coming in and the response time of grabbing those leads and looking at each individual sales rep's pipelines. And I met last week for about an hour with one of our newer sales reps, and just helping her with organization in a sense of her day and her pipeline, and helping her flow through that a little bit better. And I enjoyed that meeting and that time spent with her. And I don't do as much of that, number one, as I should, being a sales manager. But I think it's just, again, my day's naturally primarily more marketing related, like the newsletter.
Thanks, Jenna. How about you, Christy? What is a day in the life like as an account manager at Jenesis Software?
For me, it is first thing I do is I look at my emails because I want to see if anybody needs me right then. And then after I do that, I will start on probably my sales calls. I'll follow up with the people who I have done a demo with and just make sure that they don't have any questions, or if they're ready to move forward, we take it on to the next step. After that, I like to hit my sales calls, which are my prospects, and see if I can get anybody signed up for a demo and share Genesis with them. And then after I do that, I'll just look and see what else I can get into. For me, I get into things sometimes not even sales related, but just things that I like to do. It can be doing a newsletter, or it could be.
Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
So you've kind of described an average day.
Yeah.
Are you describing the perfect day or the average day? Because I would think that could be different. Sometimes when I think about a perfect day for me, I could map that out, but then reality often takes over, and that day doesn't end up being perfect because
Yeah.
a meeting cancels that I didn't want. Like in your case, if it's a prospect, cancels a demo
Yeah.
but so anyway, is what you described, would you think that's kind of describing your perfect day, or was that a real day and there's something else that's perfect?
That's an ideal day, for I would think it's an ideal day for someone in a sales role.
Okay.
Do I always think there could be, something else that's perfect? Of course, because I love doing other things too,
Yeah.
But I'm one of those unique people. I like to do lots of different things.
Yeah.
So the more things I can get my hands into, the more perfect my day is.
Jack of all trades.
Yes, I like to be that.
Thank you, Christy. Joe, tell us what a day in the life of an account manager at Genesis either looks like on average or should look like.
A lot of emails. I don't do a ton of phone calls compared to other sales jobs that I've had. Thankfully, we have some great lead sources where we have leads that kind of come to us that are high quality. So those pretty much keep us busy. Just a bunch of emails, account management, from everything from billing changes to adding users, or helping people with maybe adding a website or a different product, or our new Genesis Link stuff. So account management, also I probably do 2 to 4 demos a day on average that are an hour long to meet with agencies that are looking to come on board. And then the follow-up work that comes with that. Sometimes I have to hold follow-up meetings with our implementation team to ask a question, or sometimes I'll have to go in and do some research on my own to look at, like, maybe there's something they asked for, and I'll have to look in our archive of tickets to see if we have some momentum around that idea and give them an idea that, hey, that could happen or maybe not. So yeah, just mainly sales efforts and the things that support those. And then the things that I've really enjoyed here recently, I've got to get looped in on and like some more operational things in the sales world. So helping maintain our lead sources and making sure that we're getting the most out of those. Creating a lead spreadsheet so we can really focus and make sure that we're being efficient with how we work through the whole process. And then also just getting involved in more meetings and overlapping with other departments has been a lot of fun for me. So
I think
yeah,
helps connect
yeah.
all the dots, doesn't it? I think as being part of the team to be involved in other areas like that.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe not more than other departments, but I feel like I'm kind of in sales. I need to be an expert on a little bit of everything. I don't know development stuff, but like need to have a little bit of an understanding of, why we add new things and why we don't, and some of the considerations so I can explain those things in my demo and yeah, just give them the whole vibe of Genesis, which is just thoughtful, insurance agent minded kind of additions to the system.
I agree. And I know me personally, I enjoy I enjoy kind of um, background, not background, but behind the scenes things.
Yeah.
That's interesting to me to know what's going on, what's making that company run. And if I'm talking to you, it would probably make me feel good and be interesting to me to know that you're in meetings with the development team, that you have a connection to the development team and to the implementation team and to the support team and to the leadership. That's interesting to me, and I think I think it's part of probably what's made things work so well over the last number
Yeah.
of years here. And I think it comes across, I would think, really well for the customers. To know that you have influence and you understand how things work. And when you're talking to people, to be able to say, we get tons of requests for features. We have weekly ticket review meetings. We have a team that reviews those every week to decide what gets prioritized, what gets scheduled, and that kind of thing. I think it's cool for people to know that there's a process and for you to know what that process is.
And I drive that home. I think people love getting to feel like they're helping us create new things. And like they are. That's how we do this. And like to give them an inside view or a backstage view or however you want to call it. Like, and I pull it up, I show them my screen. So number one, they can see how busy my calendar is. So they should respond to me when I'm following up.
There you go.
But also I say, hey, here's my weekly meeting where I'm one of a handful of people that get to review these tickets, and I don't do that every week, but if it's something that's kind of in the middle ground, even though, it may be a long shot, if I say, hey, I'm going to talk to our head developer about that and bring up your situation. And even if it's not something I think we can do, I can say, hey, as I promised, last week I talked to our head developer in the meeting that I told you. We can't do that, but I'd still love to have you come on board and here's some other things we can do. So,
right.
And then I also, if it's something like it's a big picture ticket, I'll say, hey, I'm going to come back to you when we start implementing this or start rolling it out or developing it. I want your input. I need, we need your guys's, input on these things to make it better. So people love that kind of stuff. And it's fun for me too.
Good point, Joe. Jenna, what do you find the most challenging in your role?
This could be my current situation, so the answer could change possibly based on what season you're in. But I think that what I'm finding most challenging today is deciding where to spend my time and what to spend my time on. I think that's my current biggest challenge.
Is the decision process, how to decide what to do,
Yes.
your priorities, how to decide what to say no to and what to do.
And also helping my team members make that decision too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an ever evolving skill probably to navigate that. And I'm almost 60 and been doing this kind of thing for 30 years, give or take, in the agency space in Genesis. And as you know, I don't have it nailed down. And even last night, Lisa was telling me, she said, I see you do this every few years, and then you kind of back out of it, and you're out of it for a few years, and then you get back into it. And I knew what she was going to say. She said, I think you've got too much going on. I think over the last year, you've eased into too much going on and priorities get hard. And I guess maybe that's the biggest clue is when you find yourself struggling with trying to figure out how do I manage my priorities. It's not a matter of just managing what to do in what order. It's really evaluating what to back off from completely, what to say no to, what to just stop,
Yeah,
and
it's a tough one.
put the things that are most valuable up top and just stop the rest of it. Delegate it maybe, but just stop some stuff.
Mm.
And if it's really important, it'll resurface. Christy, what's your take on this topic
What's
about your
challenging?
role?
Yeah, I think the most challenging part probably for me is just motivation. Getting motivated to, as you've always told me, eat the frog.
Yeah.
And so that's why I like to make it one of my first things I do, because I want to go ahead and get that over with. And that's sales calls. I might be good at them, but I don't necessarily enjoy them
Right.
until I create that relationship. Once that relationship is created, then I kind of like it.
I've never thought about this before
Yeah.
until just a second. This is interesting. You just said contacting someone that you'd like to share your software with,
Mm-hmm.
who you don't know,
Mm-hmm.
that can be kind of hard.
Mm-hmm.
But you said when you get to know them, that's what I heard you say. That's what I
Yes.
understood you say. When you get to know them, now some of your, maybe not best friends necessarily, but people you have great relationships with now, and
Yeah.
some for many years
Oh, yeah.
started, from that kind of approach. So think about this. Most of us, I believe, if we're at a business event or Christmas party where you don't know people, in any setting where you don't know someone,
Mm-hmm.
most of us are not all that eager to go up and introduce ourselves and say, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah.
We're all
It's hard.
most people are a little shy. And if I'm in an event where there's hundreds of people and it's a business event or a conference or something, I'm not all that likely to just go around and start talking to people. But think about the times you have done it and
Oh, yeah.
the relationships you've made and the contacts you've made, and you realize that some of these people want to talk to you too. And some of these people just didn't want to come up to you. So I think there's some similarities there that I never thought of before. Most of us would agree you should get out of your shell at a party and go talk to people.
Absolutely.
But we often don't because it's hard. It takes effort. I might not like that person. They might not want to talk to me.
But they might not like me.
Yeah, they might not like me. Then they're just crazy.
Yeah.
But so I think it's kind of similar in in this other part where in a sales role where you're contacting people to say, would it be okay if I showed you the product or service that I have to sell?
Right.
So it's hard, but it's rewarding.
It is. And you've also got to think one thing that makes it a little bit easier for me is that I love the product and I believe in the product. And I think you have to have a genuine love for the product and a belief in it to be able to sell it.
You can't sell until you're sold.
Right.
So it's hard to sell something that's you don't understand, don't use, and you have an advantage over some people in that you've actually not used this product. The product, the generation of Genesis that you sell now, Genesis Now, you didn't use that, did you? You used Genesis Classic.
Correct. I did. I used Genesis Classic, but when I'm using this one now, in my role here, I see so many things in the system that's based off of the original. So it still just feels the same to me.
Thank you, Christy. How about you, Joe? Let's start with what's most challenging parts of your job.
Man, I got it easy. The product sells itself. Man, just keeping up with I don't know, all the moving pieces, I think, and all the changes that we make. We're constantly making the product better. So I sometimes get so excited about all of the new things and hey, we could do this and hey, we got this new CRM that we're going to integrate or hey, what if we did this with our websites? And I sometimes get a little too distracted on the bigger picture stuff and the operational side where, I need to focus on sales as my role. So it's just not getting too excited about some of the bigger things and focusing on my day-to-days. Probably the hardest.
Okay. Staying focused. Is that what you're saying
Yeah,
is the hardest?
focused on the right things, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all struggle with that a bit.
Yeah.
What's the most fun part of your role? Most rewarding, interesting?
Talking to people where they have been with us for a year or 6 months and they love it, and I've signed them up and I remember conversations where I'm able to confidently advocate for our onboarding process and what it's like to work with us. And that comes full circle and people are like, hey, as you sold this, knowing what we know about our company, that whole has been their experience. So, and then also it's really fun in demos to see people where I know they're a good fit and there's wow moments throughout it where I maybe show them something and they don't have a system, but they're an established agency that's using like an old system or they don't have one in place. And I show them, it's like, hey, check out how these accords work. And they just go, whoa. And that's the coolest part.
No, I get that. I think the two main things you just said, I remember from my days of being in your seat is being in a demo and them saying, oh, cool. Oh, cool. Oh, that's awesome. That just felt good. And I've had some demos over the years, I'm sure you have too, where they didn't say much.
Yeah.
And maybe they weren't a good fit, or maybe they're not easily impressed or something. But the ones where they really were vocal about that is so awesome. Makes you feel good because I guess it's because they feel good. It makes you happy to make somebody happy, and they're happy when they're acting that way. And then the other thing that you said is dead on is when you get somebody. You said 6 months to a year. I could pick any time frame and feel the same way. 6 months to a year, they're saying, I'm glad that you sold this to me because it's changed everything. Or whether it's been 5, 10, and we've got people with us now around 30 years, been with us and close to it. And for those people to say it's been maybe the most important business decision that we've ever made is rewarding and feels good. Hey, Christy, how about you? What's the most fun part about your job? Why do you keep doing what you're doing?
I love that I get to work from home, but I also love that I work for a company where everyone works together. It's hard to find a company that you're virtual and you actually have relationships with people you work with. And here, I think that's something we do very well. We are always on Zoom calls like this, or we're having our team meetings, or we're doing for me, my sales meeting every Monday. And it's not strange to just pick up the phone and call somebody else within
And
the
chat.
company.
Our chat
Our
is crazy
chat.
active.
And I stay on there.
And I love, and I'll say this because somebody might be watching this,
Yeah.
that they would benefit from this. I like everything you're saying. I didn't expect you to say these things. The Zoom calls are cool because we mandate pretty much that you're on camera, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, you have to be.
you don't show up at a meeting at Genesis if you're a team member. Now, if a customer does, we're not going to bully
Yeah.
them, but we believe that eye-to-eye contact is important, and I think
The
that's made a
best.
difference. The other thing about our
Absolutely.
chat is we've got this group chat where everybody's like, "Good morning. Here's what I'm doing today," and post a picture of your dog here and there, and post a
Yeah.
picture of a sale that we made. So it's really active with all our team members, 25 team members. And then we also have these departments. So you've got a sales department, and there's
Yeah.
development has these, and you can go into their chat groups and you can say, "Hey, development
Right.
team, I've got an issue," and I think that's been cool because that to me is like our virtual office, because you've got
Yes.
the team chat where you're walking in the front door and you're saying, "Good morning, everybody," and then you've got departments where you walk into people's offices, you walk into sales, and you walk,
Oh,
you say,
yeah.
"Hey, salespeople, I've got a question," and I think that's been instrumental and
It
keeping our remote team connected and organized and
it
effective.
is. For me, I'm not ever afraid to go to anyone in the company. You know, You're so approachable. Lisa's so approachable. Everybody's so approachable that I know if I need them, they're there. I'm not just gonna flounder.
Yeah.
I've got the help I need. Jenna, she's always on top of it. If I need something, I know that I can chat her directly and she's going to answer me.
Right.
And that makes a big deal. Now I'm one of those people, I'm very impatient, My husband will be the first person to tell you I'm very impatient. When I need to know something, I want to know or I'll start stressing over it. And so it's really nice to be on a team where I've got more than one person who can answer the same question.
Great point, Christy. Jenna, how about you?
I think the most fun for me is seeing success in sales numbers and sales goals specifically. That one's pretty easy for me. So no matter what is going on around me from a work perspective, if I feel overwhelmed or whatever it is, any sort of negative feeling can easily be turned around pretty quickly with success from the sales team. And by success, I mean meeting goals and numbers.
So when you think about the success and the joy you get, satisfaction from good numbers, are you thinking about a good day, a good week, a good month, a good year? What are you mostly thinking about when you think that?
On a monthly basis,
Okay.
I think is where my mind goes.
Yeah. Okay. Because we'll add 10 to 20 new agencies, sometimes 25 or more in a month, but 10 to 20 is the range, right? For the
Right.
last year or two. But when you started, what was it a month? Do you remember?
I was here when we would make 1 to 3 sales a month, and I've been here where we've made 0 sales.
Oh, yeah.
I
Right.
don't know exactly, but certainly 1 to 3
Yeah.
sales a month. So it's been incredibly positive
Yeah.
overall.
What's changed in the last 9 years of being here?
Growth. We've grown quite a bit, and that comes with both, positives and challenges. So just with any company growing, I'd say growth
Growth in terms of
as an
revenue?
organization, and then also expanding our services and what we offer,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then growth in sales
So,
and recurring revenue.
okay. And when you said, I think you alluded to or said the number of team members has
Team
grown.
growth.
Yeah. And sales, number of sales being made, number of customers. Have more customers now, obviously, than we did 9 years ago. A lot more customers than we did. If we're sitting here 5 years or 10 years from now, what do you think might be different?
So as I mentioned, growth from the services we offer from that perspective, whether that be agency management system, software or digital marketing services. My hope and what I feel pretty confident about is that will all feel clearer. That's relatively new. So that'll all be a bit more organized, a bit clearer, and flow more smoothly, at least from a sales perspective, in selling and offering and being able to talk about those services to prospects. I think in 5 years we'll be there. And then my second thought would be probably more feature focused from the software end. So larger, don't exactly know how to phrase this, but larger features, more important features, more wow features.
Yeah.
I guess I could go with that.
Right.
I'd like to see more of them come on, and I would just continue to like to see more of them come on quicker.
Christy, what's your take on this topic? What's been the biggest
Ooh.
changes at Genesis as a company?
The biggest changes, well, from the first time I was here, the biggest change is that now it's all virtual.
Yep, that's true.
That's huge because I can remember traveling to go to the office and for city
Yeah, that's
and
right.
have our little meetings. I loved that.
I did
But
too.
now it's not that's the main thing that's changed. But now in the last few years, since I've been back, it has been a lot of growth. Um, However, things still seem the same. It's still a hometown feel. It's still, just a big family. So
That's what every
there's,
business says. Not every business, but a
yeah,
lot do. But I do think we've nailed it pretty well. And
I think so.
I think it has so much to do with each member of the family.
I think so.
You know, we're we're not a dysfunctional family, knock on wood. And a lot of businesses are. And
Yes,
we're blessed
yes,
in the way that we have a team of people that really work well together, care for one another, and your involvement in the care team, and just the fact that the
yes,
care team exists, I think helps that too. That's a only a year into that project, but I think that's helped with what was
yes,
already a good culture.
yes.
Um,
That's one of my favorite things.
I know it is. What do you think might change? How might things look here in another 5 or 10 years that might be different?
It could be more, AI involvement. It could be um, bigger teams. It could be, um, I mean, I don't want to say it, but if you and Lisa decided to, kind of ease to take some time away, I
That
mean,
would be a
that
change.
could be a big change.
Yeah.
We would certainly miss you guys though. Um, but I could see things like that happening. We're at a point where the company is doing, I feel like everything's so organized and each team knows what it's doing, and there's not a lot of dysfunction.
No.
Everything just works smooth.
And if I could think about the next 5 or 10, we've been in business 25 years. We've grown by, on average, about 10% every year since we've been in business,
Yeah.
added about one employee a year since we've been in business.
Yeah.
And if we continue for the next 5 or 10 years just like that, that suits me just fine.
Oh,
Add
yeah.
one new team member a year in some department, whoever needs that team member, and grow by 10% a year in revenue and customer base, and just keep our retention good like we have now
Yeah.
with customers, and keep adding new customers.
One of the things that I loved as a customer of Genesis was that no matter what, I always had help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's
Oh yeah.
huge. And I want us to always be able to, make sure that our customers first.
Yes.
That's the most important thing.
I will add one more layer to that, though. For me,
Hmm.
team is first, and
Oh, yeah.
customers is almost right behind it.
Yeah.
I have to take care of the team,
Right.
because me taking care of the team, so the team can take care of the customers, is like the
Right.
analogy of the airplane when they say if we lose cabin pressure and the oxygen mask
Oh,
comes down, put it on yourself first, and then help others.
right.
So I've got to take care of you so you can take care of our customers. Joe, what's changed in the 3 years that you've been here?
I think we've just got a little bit better every year. I remember you and me talking in like our first conversation interview saying like, hey, we've done like good growth every year, and I kind of like a slow growth and like just getting a little bit of better and progress, not perfection. And I don't think those were your exact words, but that's just kind of my interpretation of it. And we've done that. You can't grow too fast because then the people side gets left behind sometimes, or things fall through the cracks. So I really like how we find that balance as far as really still putting an emphasis on the people side of things growing, but doing it in a measured or calculated way, and making sure that when we do roll something out that it makes sense for people and it's truly creating value. So I just think that we've continually got better, and the system itself has become just I came across some videos from a few years back, and it's just cool to see how much more intuitive just little things have gotten, the improvements that Genesis have made over the past 3 years. So
Yeah. And I'm confident that 2025, we're going to see significant improvements in some key areas, with some changes that we have in mind and ready to implement. Any thoughts about how you think the next 5 or 10 years, what things may look like here in 5 or 10 years from now?
I think I said it in, I was asked to talk about what we think of 2025 in our first, quarterly team meeting in 2025. And I think I mentioned that this is the year that Genesis is going to kind of connect to the world. And that may be an oversimplification, but if we're doing our website integration, the Zapier stuff, the Go High Level, the Raider things, like it kind of, yes, we have a few little integrations with Turbo Raider embedded in the IPFS stuff, but man, really, like this is going to open so many doors for us to just link to outside platforms. And I think that that's the way the world is going to go as we see more technology and tools pop up because of AI and just the rate of how technology is progressing. I think we are going to see us as, the central hub for everything that people do as an insurance agent and using Genesis, but we need to make sure that we can connect to all those cool tools that are going to be released so quickly over the next few years here. Just AI, it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really cool to see how it affects our jobs and how we work here, but also how we can help insurance agents with AI and all the fun stuff coming.
Yeah, well said. I've always enjoyed, maybe it's because I came from an agent's side, and I knew some of the challenges and I knew the importance of growing an agency, challenges of growing it and the importance of growing it. So from day one, back almost 30 years ago in doing Genesis, it's always been interesting to me to help agents with not just handing them a piece of software to help them print a receipt, or print an accord form or download from the carriers. But it's always been interesting to me to try to be involved in helping them be successful. So I think you're right that this is going to be a big year with connectivity. I tested the Zapier integration over the weekend,
Yeah,
and that
I'm
is
doing
so
that today.
cool.
Yeah, I'm doing that today myself.
I ran into one little issue, and I had to ask a question for a development team, but it was cool. It worked. I added a client, boom, they popped over into Genesis Link, but that could have been anywhere. They could have popped over to any other host
Yeah.
of places that Zapier connects to. So I think a lot of cool things. I do think it's going to be a cool year. Last question I'll ask you is, you are obviously a successful salesperson. You're definitely successful here at Genesis. What advice would you give them to help them be better at sales?
Well, first, thank you for saying that. I really appreciate that. I remember first coming on board and circling back to your and my first conversation, interview. I remember saying, Eddie, if I'm in a sales role, I want to have conviction for the product that I'm selling and the company that I'm representing. And because of you and the people here, that's true. It's been perfect. I'm very proud to represent the company and the product that I represent. It makes sense for everyone, or not everyone, but for a lot of people. That's why we, we do so well sales wise.
Right.
So yeah, I guess just to people that would need advice, and I don't know if people necessarily need my advice, but find the product that you have conviction in. Don't focus on the sales this month and getting that one little sale just to make some extra money. Like, money doesn't matter. Yes, it does. I mean, it can help problems, but focus on people and fixing problems for people and helping people. And from a sales perspective, the money will come. If you just stay true to who you are as an individual and, worry about just providing a good service and sleeping well at night. That's my whole thing. I've been in jobs where I've made really good money, but I hated what I did, where, I'd rather just have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well said. Thank you, Joe. How about you, Jenna? If you were giving advice to our customers about sales, your expertise, plus you've worked in an agency.
To be yourself and to be genuine when you're talking to someone else or another prospect, because you are primarily selling yourself, I believe, over whatever it is that you're selling. So I think if you can build that rapport and just truly be yourself and comfortable in the conversation, you're likely to see more success than if not.
I love it. Transparency is a big thing around here, and being genuine's a big thing around here. So it's so much easier
Mm.
to be genuine and
Mhm.
yourself, isn't it? Than it
I think
is,
so.
yeah, than it is to try to be something you're not. So,
Mm.
so the easy route is be who you are and figure out how that works. So,
Mhm.
Christy, how about you?
My best piece of advice is one that my grandmother gave me many years ago. Treat others how you want to be treated. You know, I want you to be honest with me, and I want you to be transparent with me, and that's how I'm going to treat you as my customer. And I am very transparent with them. If I don't feel it's a good fit, I'm going to tell them it's not a good fit. And I think that's doing the best service for them to not get into something that's not good for them.
Okay.
And so be transparent, be honest with your customers. That's the most important thing.
And probably great advice in life in general,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for listening to the Insurance Agency Success Podcast, where independent insurance agents like you get the tools and insights to grow, streamline, and enjoy your business. If today's episode gave you something valuable, please take action and start making changes in your agency today. And if you're ready to simplify operations and scale, visit genesissoftware.com and click on the orange button to book your demo. I appreciate you being here. Keep building, keep growing, and I'll see you next time.